Hello, FlossTube. This is Bonnie Jeanne, also known as PostMuse, and my YouTube channel is Postally Yours. And this is FlossTube number 39. First of all, thank you to all the folks who commented last week and welcomed me back into the world of FlossTube. It has been over a year since the previous to last week's FlossTube, and I am very happy to be back. I feel like I'm got my stitchy bug back, which is great. So, don't as I said last week, I don't have a lot to show because I'm trying very hard to stitch as monogamously as possible. That's going to be completely impossible because I do get bored easy. But let me show you what I've been working on this week. First off, I have New Doors by Ink Circles. Now this was one that all I had left is the border, and I really thought that within the week I would get it done, but I didn't. It's just a long border, and I'll explain more when I show it. So this is the chart by Ink Circles, New Doors, and it says old keys won't open new doors, and this is where I am on New Doors. Forgive the threads. So I'm working on the border. As you can see, the top part, the very top part, is all I got done this week. First of all, this is all fancy floss, and I feel cheap about not wasting my fancy floss because it is expensive. So after each one of these flowers and after each set of these leaves, I end it. Actually, the leaves I think I have been traveling a little bit because it's not as much. But after each flower, I am ending it and then starting the next flower. So that contributes to how long it's been taking me to do this. Those leaves there, I think I have it figured out where I can easily, it would probably waste more thread to stop and start than it would just to have it travel. But I'll continue working on that this week, and we'll see where I get with it. My sisters were funny because I was showing them some of my cross stitch projects, and one of my sisters says, all of these projects seem to have a common thread where they are like affirmations. I said, yep, that's pretty much where I am right now. I need all the stitchy affirmations I can get. And my next one is, so I've been working on this Groovy Chicks. I really love this pattern. And the bottoms of each one of them has a cute little play on words. But I'll show you. So I'm working on this one here right now. And I stitched for 2 hours, and that right there is all I got done. So this had been previously completed, but after 2 hours, and I didn't take out anything. It's just dense stitching, a lot of thread changes. I did try parking, a kind of a version of parking the threads. That seemed to help a little bit. But man, is this detailed. But it's coming along great, and I love the colors. So I'm going to keep working on that one too. And next up, I have the one that I had the most fun this week. This is the Lindy Stitches Airmail series. And I had started the Turtledove, and I think I've lost, oh, I can't have lost it. Nope, there it is. So I started Turtledove, and which is the March one, and Red Cheek Cordon Bleu, and they are both finished. This one was finished last week, but I'll show it again. So that's Turtledove. That's for March. And this is Red Cheek Cordon Bleu, and that one I finished up this week. It was was almost finished last week. So I want to point out something about this. So can you tell in the Cordon Bleu, see his little chest down here? See how it's nicely variegated? This is stitched, these charts are done with a lot of fancy floss. And I debate all the time because like you can't even really see the fancy floss and all that blue there, because the floss that's used, it's, I can't remember the name of it, but it's not as variegated as some of the others, like this one down here. So this one down here, I don't like this. I don't like stripes. So what I did was I stitched it kind of randomly. So it really kind of, it does kind of have a nice look to it, natural look to it. But like for example, the 37, all of the borders, they're all done in fancy flosses. A lot of these flowers, which you'll never see the variation in. And I think that if anybody was going to do this, I might suggest really studying the patterns and looking at the floss and the variations and the colors of the fancy floss to decide whether it's worth it to use the fancy floss. Now I will say, doing the stitching this way like I did down there used a lot more floss than it would have if I just gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But I think it's worth it. It's really cute. So I asked last week which one I should start next, and I got a vote for the Dodo, which is April, the April Fool's one. So the Dodo. So you can see, now I don't mind the stripes here so much. That's not bothering me so much. I'm not really sure about the stripes across the body with the fancy floss. I'm going to play that one by ear. I might try to get all the little swirly things done, and then go back and just kind of stitch in a circly pattern. I don't know. But let me show you where I got. So what I've decided to do with all of my airmails is I'm stitching all of the borders, because the border is the exact same for all of them. So I'm stitching all of the borders, and then I'm going back to fill in the design. So this is where I've gotten, the borders don't take very long. But, wait a minute, is this backwards? No, it looks backwards to me. But this is his beak, or his nose. And that's as far as I've gotten on this one. And I started the borders for a couple of other ones, and I will continue on those. One of them is the other ones that I want to, this one I really want to get that started, because that's a lot of black, and that's going to be tedious. So I do want to start that one. Love the variation. Love the variegated in this one here. That color. What color is that? Cinnamon Twist, I think. Let's see. Nope. It is. Yeah, it's Cinnamon Twist. That's pretty. Also, just to show you, this is crazy, but usually, you know, you're stitching your chart, and it's, you know, your pattern, your fabric, and the chart's usually really small, and you're straining your eyes. Well, I'm going to flash this because I know you're not supposed to show charts, but I just want to flash. All right. You see how big that is? This is how big the chart is. These are not the same, but this is one that's finished. So I'm stitching it. I'm thinking, what have I done wrong? This is so small. And I'm realizing you're just surprised by a ginormous chart. But these are cute. These are fun. These are things like I can take I can take this and sit and watch TV and do these borders because it's pretty mindless. It's the exact same stitch and the exact same count all the way down the line. So I'm really enjoying that. I showed last week, I showed the beach rat. I'll pull it out, but did not stitch on it at all this week. I have to attack this in a different way. So this is what it looks like when it's done. Beach rat. And I jumped in and started doing the seagull. And it's so many shades of white, and the colors changed so much. So you can see where I am on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the words, beach rat. I'm going to stitch in all of the rest of the flower, the leaves and stuff. I'm going to get all of that in, get it all done perfectly, and then I'm just going to attack the bird stitching and not obsess about, oh God, I've missed a stitch here, I've missed a stitch there. Because that's what's killing me. I'm taking out so many stitches. If I miss a stitch, so long as I have all the other things in place nicely, if I miss a stitch, I'll just, if I can get it out, I will. But if I can't, I'm not going to panic. So, that's all of my stitching that is done, that I did last week. Another person who commented, one of my pen pals from way back in Australia, she was commenting that she had lost her stitchy bug, but it's because she had to do a lot of back stitch. And I commented, yeah, I've got one like that too, and it's 40 plus years old. I started stitching this many years ago. This is like a Better Homes and Garden, and all it needs is the rest of the back stitching done. You can tell this is back in the days when we did masking tape. Yeah. So I really, 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 really need to get this done. The chart is called Meredith, and coincidentally, my granddaughter's name is Meredith, so this will be hers. Speaking of grandchildren, my eldest grandchild, Savannah Jeanne, is graduating from high school in a couple of weeks, and she's going off to college in Alabama, and it's very exciting. Oh, I do have one more stitch that I started. So, I've been in a reading slump. I love to read. I love audiobooks, but for whatever reason, everything is either too cutesy or too scary or too long-winded. I love books, I like stories like Virginia Woolf, where you have what they call word salad. Lots and lots and lots of words. I love shorter reads. I love science fiction. I love pretty much across all genres, but I've been in a reading slump. So the other day I decided I'm going to listen. I have never done the audiobooks of the books that I read when I was a kid. And one of my favorite books, one of my very, very favorite books is Jane Eyre. And I decided I'm going to listen to that. So I got the audiobook. I was surprised how long it was. But as I was stitching it, I was remembering I have a chart. I actually have two charts for Jane Eyre. So I got it out and I started. It had been started, but I hadn't gotten very far. This is what the chart looks like. It's by Little Stitcher Girl. And it reads, I have an inward treasure born with me, which can keep me alive if all extraneous delights should be withheld or offered only at a price I cannot afford to give. And I thought that's another great saying. And this is massive. I have a lot from Little Stitcher Girl that are literary. So the font is a little odd. This is on a floss fabric that's called Dirty Teacup. It's one of my favorite neutrals. So you can see I haven't gotten very far on it. And the font, the typeface, it's kind of like they couldn't decide if they wanted to do it cursive or print, or it's odd. It's just odd. So it's taken me a little bit of time to get to those letters. But I stitched the whole time I was listening to the book. I was stitching this, and it was super relaxing. You know, stitching and listening to a book. So I also have a Jane Austen, and I also have, from Little Stitcher Girl, I also have a Scarlet Letter. So on those, I'm going to also get the audiobook when I stitch those. The other Jane Eyre that I have is Little Jane Eyre, and this is when she's at the school, and she's made to stand with the sign saying liar on it. This is much, much smaller than the big Jane Austen. I also have a very old antique book of not Jane Austen, Jane Eyre. I do that all the time. Jane Eyre, and when I frame these, I'm going to put the book with them on a little stand. So, but I read that book probably at least a dozen times when I was a kid. And then the last thing I wanted to show you today was something when I was cleaning stuff out, I came upon this. I had finished this project, but never fully finished it. I had started it. Oh, good grief. It's got threads all in it, because you'll see. Anyway, it's Stitching Mends the Soul, which I think is great. So I'm hand stitching on all of the rickrack. That's where I was on this, was hand stitching it. So I'm going to continue stitching that on, and then I'll have this. I think obviously the clippies will go and the magnet will go. This will go right behind me, but I like this. I like how it came out. Just forgive all these little threads. It's the sewing thread that's gotten it was in a bag, and this thread that I'm using to stitch the pom-poms on is just all over the place. It got loose. It's all over the place in the bag. And I just found that I was cleaning things out yesterday afternoon and came across this, and I thought, oh, that's got to come out, because that's doable. I can get that done, and then it will be complete. So this is a very, very short little video. I just wanted to try to keep up with a weekly recap, just to say hi. And I have been watching some more FlossTubes. I had gotten away from watching them because of the whole fear of missing out thing. But I'm over that now, and I'm just enjoying watching what people are stitching, and I'm very happy to be back. And we'll talk more about books maybe next week if I can get out of my little reading slump here and find some good books. I've been reading a lot about Dungeon Crawler Carl, and it seems like it's right up my alley. So I ordered that from the library, and I'm going to pick that up tomorrow. We'll see if because that's a whole series, and that's great. If I can get a series in, that's great. Then I have something to read while I'm going through. But yeah, anyway, that's it for this episode, and thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Bye, all.